All right, all right, all right. That is right there. My baking trick. From my son every time when I say about AOD. Yes, I have it here. This is WWHA 103.5 FM. I am so happy to be here on Thabisa and Friends with you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I know it's hectic. I say hectic because we are just all indoors. Otherwise, it's not that hectic, but it's hectic. For us. Good to have you here, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy. So for the viewers at home, I just want to tell you that this is one of my happiest days because I have the most wonderful. There's a feedback here, right?
Yes.
So it's
terrible feedback.
You're right.
Because it's not me. We can just take a second and look at what we have. It's not me. Wasn't there earlier?
You don't have your Facebook on in the back, right?
My Facebook. Anyone is Facebook on? No. No. Not on my. Look at my. No. Oh, no. Someone else. No. So we still have the fitness. Should we try to go through it and maybe go slowly? Harry.
Do you think it's this headphone that I'm using, the microphone?
No, because the feeling from Thabisa.
For me?
Yes. It's Thabisa.
Okay. Give me a second. Maybe someone else around here has a phone open.
Okay. I was wondering. I was wow. Like hi. Thought it was just weird.
No.
Wow. We'll get it figured out. We're supposed to be on for an hour.
It doesn't seem like I have anything open here. I am literally logging out of everything right now.
You sound better, Thabisa.
You sound better.
I do? Okay. Yes, we are back. My phone is gone. Here we are. This is my beautiful, wonderful, strong, amazing, incredible, talented ladies. Good to see you here. Good to have you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying yes, ladies. Thank you. So yes, again, we're back on WNHH 103.5 FM with the incredible ladies here on Thabisa and Friends. And I will introduce you to these ladies. On my left screen, I don't know how people are going to be viewing this, but on my left screen, I have the most incredible Zohra Rawling. Did I say that right? Rawling?
Mm-hmm.
I told you earlier on when we spoke about your name that I just keep on misspelling your name, and how I write it sounds like Zohra. And you said to me, actually, that's how your name is pronounced, or should be rather, right? That is interesting. Yeah. That is really interesting. So Miss Zohra Rawling is here. She is an opera singer. She is a mom. She is a Northern Raven. You gotta tell me about that. When I saw that, I was like, Northern Raven, what is it? What is a Northern Raven? You gotta tell me a little bit later on. She's a Syrian, and like I said to you earlier on, that when I was doing my little bit of research about you, I ended up into learning a little bit more about the Middle East, because I didn't realize, what Assyrian is, and so I would love for you to introduce yourself to our viewers at home, and I will later on talk to you too, Doc. Can you tell the viewers who you are and what you do?
Sure. So, like you said, I don't hear my name pronounced as it should be, just because it doesn't exist in the Western language and dialect. It's just not a thing that people say. But so, yeah, my grandfather named me as Zohra, and people just call me Zohra, and it means the first light in dawn, and and you know. It's lovely to hear when people can say my name because it's been so long. It really makes me happy. It's a good feeling. So thank you.
It's a pleasure. I'm glad in my little mistake, this came out that I was actually pronouncing your name correctly. I'm happy to hear that. I know how important that is. People want their names to be pronounced correctly, and it means a lot. When someone calls you by your name and correctly, it does something. And when they don't do it right, that does something too, and it's not necessarily good.
No.
So tell me about you being a Northern, what is it, Northern Raven?
Raven. That is a group of a couple friends of mine, and it's medieval music and folk music and things like that. My friend Priscilla Moore, she's actually in Connecticut, and Selena Kaplan, she's in Butler, Pennsylvania now. But we all belong to a historical medieval recreation group or recreation educational group nonprofit, SEA, Society for Creative Anachronisms, and we found each other. And we had a lot in common. We just start singing together, and someone kind of named us that. And because we're in the north, and we're always watching and ravens and stuff. And I actually used the raven for my bee honey business because so that one's called Watchful Raven, and it has a raven on top of a bee skip.
Right. Well, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Because that's one thing I missed about you. That is, so please tell us more about your business. We need lots of honey and ginger right now. I need it.
So I have a couple hives, and as the weather goes into spring, we're going to split them, and so there'll be 4. The problem I'm having, of course, is that the way the weather change, climate change is very evident, and when people use pesticides in their lawns, the bees bring it back to the hive, and it's called a pesticide kill, and it destroys an entire hive. And that is probably my most frustrating experience because there's nothing I can do about that. I have no control over that. So I just keep trying, and they're just my favorite. They're tiny livestock, and I love them. I love my ladies.
This is brilliant. I am so happy you're talking about this. Well, for a couple of reasons that I truly do need honey. I suffer from allergies, and I hear a lot of people, they keep on telling me that I should maybe have honey, local honey instead. I have honey at home, but it's not locally, manufactured. So they advise that I should have local honey. And now that you are, doing your own thing, I think I'm going to be customer. I have supporting small businesses as well, because we're at a time that is very strange right now, where we find that everyone's lives is pretty much on halt. We just have to stop whatever we're doing so we can look after ourselves. And I was saying to my other friend the other day that this is like a blessing in disguise to what is happening, and I say that keeping in mind of all those other people that are probably going to suffer more out of this whole thing. And I consider myself lucky. And I think a lot of you guys also feel the same way, that you can still survive. You can manage for some time and buy time to get well. Other people don't have that time and that luxury and that privilege,
Yeah.
So I feel like also it's such a blessing because the earth is like, I can breathe. I really feel it so deeply. Like that's one thing that makes me feel like there's some goodness in this whole thing, because I feel like Mother Nature is really grateful. The skies are smiling down because they can breathe. With all the pollution that we put onto our earth, is just too much. It's unbearable. And I really feel that maybe if we could do this once we are well, if we could do this like every month, or at least twice a month or once a month, where everybody and everything has to be still. Everybody. No one goes to work, no one does anything. You work at home, everybody, no one goes to school every single month or every other week. I think it's possible, but and that's not what I'm going to talk about right now. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about you, and I want to talk about your performing arts. I want to talk about opera music, and this is one thing you guys have in common. I want you to tell me about your performing arts. What do you do? What do you do as a performer besides you being a performer?
I'm a freelance opera singer at dramatic coloratura, which is my range. I have a very high range, and it's fun, and I like to sing high, and mostly I sing wherever I can, and that's really what it's like right now, where you just have to go where the work is regardless. And I have a partner who's extremely supportive, and the kids who are understanding, and I really think it's important for them to see that I also have my own goals and things I have to accomplish as well, outside of the home, and to see that I have an absolute partner, not just like a sort of, just the part
someone who's right there with you through it all. I understand. I understand you completely. So I have an image of you. Harry has an image of you. I think you're performing, and I think this image comes from one of your groups. Or can you please explain this for me? I've always tried to understood this. You perform as Madame Talia, or is that a company, Madame Talia? Because I was never sure. Please tell us more about that.
Madame Talia is my vaudeville troupe. So we decided that we didn't. Well, me being it was my job to decide this. It's not like there's this like secret board of Madame Talia making decisions, but I wanted it to be a vaudeville troupe. I've always wanted to do that, and I wanted to have a mysterious benefactress. And I thought, who better than the muse of comedy? I thought she would be fantastic. So because of that, we do whatever time period we want. We just I decide we're going to do 1890, 1913, whatever. Go towards that, that material, and we do our best to really stay within that time period. About 5 years. I try not to do 10. I don't do decades, because we as a people, we're not going to really listen to music that was 10 years ago and pretend it's, popular today. So I try and take that into consideration.
Right.
I spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos of old recordings just to see how their performance style differs, and really pull that in there. I also, this is like, it sounds exciting and romantic when I say it this way, but I go to the Institute Library, and I look through the directory and find information about local things that happen, local businesses in New Haven. But really, you know what? I'm stalking dead people in the yellow pages. It's just sounds really interesting. You're like, oh, I work through the directories, and I research this way. But I'm just like stalking dead people, see what they were doing during these time periods.
Wow, but that's
incredible. Brings a good level to our performance, and I enjoy doing that.
Right. Wow, that's interesting. I really didn't know that. Like, I didn't know this is what it took. Okay, I would see you post your events coming up, and I see you guys looking wonderful in costumes and all of that. But I didn't quite get what you guys were doing, and this is really interesting. I would love to go to one of your shows, actually, because I haven't yet, but I think I need to make time this year and actually be there and support artists and physically be there. And if I really can't, even if you just buy that ticket and send it and give it to someone else as a gift, that's a way that as artists we can support one another as well. And I know
I
I
never
know it's
even.
hard.
Yeah.
So
What a good idea. I hadn't even considered that. Even if I couldn't go, just buy the ticket and hear it. That's a wonderful idea.
No, I actually would do that. Like, I don't do it often enough. I know I've done it with La Sala Femme, and then I can't remember who else, but I don't do it enough. And I think that's just one other way of, just showing support. It means a lot when you see an artist actually paying to come into your show instead of going like, "You're my friend, nudge, nudge," you know. So it's because then we get to invest in our careers, right? We get to invest and put back in, and we give more, right? So I'm going to leave you for a little bit, and I'll come back to you. But before I do that, though, I think Harry has a video for us. He can let me know if he can find it. He has a video for us of you, I believe, performing. I would love to see that. I'm sure the audience would love to see that as well. So, Harry, you can tell me anytime that you have it. Okay, there we go. Wait, is that okay? Then let's listen out, guys. Madame Talia.
I can't hear it.
I can't hear it either. He's probably gonna find the volume, or is it me? Do I have to find? I don't think it's me.
I don't know. At the very least, you can see us on stage all
Yes,
handing it up.
doing it. That's right. I can be you for a second. I'm only imagining that's what you're doing, because I can tell it's just coming
You're right.
from deep in.
You knew.
And in fact, if it doesn't work out, you can just, you will pretend the video is lip syncing, and you can just sing. We can work that out too. Not sure who's gonna play guitar, because I don't play guitar. Doc, do you play guitar?
What was that?
Do you play guitar?
No, I play piano, but I don't play guitar. No.
Right. So I think all right. I think that didn't quite work out for now. I'm sure later on we'll try again, and it'll work out. So yeah, again, we are on WNHH 103.5 FM, Thabisa and Friends. This show, let me tell you, this show is about my friends, and by my friends, I don't mean just my friends, my buddies, but I mean friends as in like my community. Yeah. So everyone that comes in the show is part of the community, and it's people that I find interesting. It's people that I admire. It's people that I really adore, and it's people that I really I'm interested and curious about, like yourselves. So happy to see you here, Dr. Tiffany.
Hey.
I'm very, very happy that you could make this morning and be with us.
Well, it's nice to be with you guys. Such talented ladies.
Yes. I'm so happy. Please tell me about you. People out there, I know people know you here, but there's that one person who doesn't know you. Tell them about you.
Well, I grew up in New Haven from the time I was about 2 years old. And I grew up in an area called the Hill, which is in the vicinity of the New Haven train station. In an area there that no longer exists, but at the time it was called Church Street South Housing Projects in New Haven. So I grew up in an underserved community in New Haven, but music has always been a very important aspect of my life and an integral part of my life. Growing up in the Black church experience, and from a very young age learning to sing gospel music and hymns and praise and worship music. So music has always been an important aspect of my life. Then I started studying music formally, or studying voice, when I was probably 11 or 12 years old. And that's when I started to become exposed to different genres of music. And even in Catholic school, where I attended for 5 years, I learned to appreciate different genres, classical being one of them, musical theater, jazz-inspired music. So that's how it started for me, sort of my formal training. And then when I was about a junior or senior in high school, I recognized that maybe this is something I might want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah, so that's when I decided to study voice on the undergraduate level. I have a bachelor's of music from the University of Michigan, And I have a master's in artist diploma from Yale University. I was in the School of Music in the 90s there in their opera program.
Right.
So after that, I moved to Houston. I was singing with the Houston Grand Opera for a bit, where at the opera company, I was part of an important debut called Little Women by Mark Adamo. I played the role of the mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I remember that experience. It was crazy.
Wow. I think there's a book right now. I mean, there is a book called Little Women, right? I think now they're doing a movie for it.
Yeah, I've been out for a while now, very popular. But the opera itself, when it was debuted for the first time by Mark Adamo, no one knew who he was, or really, in some cases, the storyline, because I didn't read. I think it's Louisa May Alcott. I don't know. I didn't read that book when I was a kid, so I learned about that story through the making of the opera.
Right.
And so it was during that time period when I was completely immersed in being an opera singer. And then years later, I started to get involved in health and fitness, and my passion developed. So the first part of my life was primarily devoted on what I call my gift, primarily my gift. Mm-hmm. My passion being health and fitness. I have a certification in sports nutrition and also in personal training. So I get all excited when I start talking about health and fitness and natural bodybuilding. I get crazy. It's like I'm so passionate about it.
I want to know more about that. I want to know more about that because I know you post a lot about when you go to gym and when you do your workout and your routine, and now we can't go anywhere. How are you keeping that up? How are you keeping yourself, fit and, still not feeling like you're regressing,
Right.
There's some sort of regiment that you have to stick to in order for you to keep to your goals. How are you doing that?
Well, to be quite honest, when I'm in competition shape, that's a whole different level of commitment. And I haven't really been there for about a year. I compete once a year. It used to be I competed 2 and 3 times a year where I stayed pretty fit all year. But with natural bodybuilding, there's a difference between stage body and everyday body. Right now, I got an everyday body. I look like a fit girl, but not somebody you want to see on a bodybuilding stage. So I had to understand that there are levels when it comes to fitness of just how fit you want to look, how fit you need to feel. I would say right now, the way I'm handling it is being in the house a lot. I'm eating very small portions. I'm trying not to ever get full. Just I'm grazing all day. I'll have nuts, I'll have an apple, I'll have dried fruit. I'm trying not to have a full course meal.
You don't want to know what I ate for breakfast this morning.
I'm scared to ask.
Wow, this is wonderful. So, Doc, tell me, people are wondering. We hear Thabisa saying, Dr. Jackson. Is she a medical doctor? We might need her to go to ER right now. What is going on? How come she's Dr. Jackson? You want to tell us a little bit more why you are Dr. Jackson?
Well, when people think doctor, they always think medicine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You could be a doctor of a tree if you want to be. You know what I mean?
Or you could be a witch doctor.
I mean, people can become doctors in so many different fields, philosophy, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I just happen to be a doctor of music. I have a DMA from the University of Connecticut, which means Doctoral of Musical Arts. And a DMA is primarily a performance-based PhD, except at UConn it was pretty academic because I had to write a dissertation and I had to take a lot of academic classes. So my degree was conferred in 2018 when I received the official title. And people get quite the kick out of calling me Dr. Jackson. And I'm like, who cares?
I love calling you by your name fully, okay? Excuse you, but you gotta take your name as is, okay? You're not gonna be working so hard every day for however long you did for us to be just dropping out the most important thing you're working for. So we're gonna put that doctor in there whether you like it or not, okay? So I'm curious to know though, like so the other day I was checking my Facebook and I saw you and your mom and you were having this conversation talking about about this whole space that we are in, and I'm curious to know. I mean, I know a little bit from listening to you and because I follow you and your journey, and some people may not. And I'm just curious at this time, how are you keeping up with your mother? She's older, and is she how is she looking after herself?
Yeah.
And how are you guys feeling? Just in general. In fact, both of you. After that, I would like for you to tell me as your family as well. But you, Tiffany, first.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I mean, I made a live myself the other day, and one of the things I talked about is, I mean, my life is not that much different.
Yeah.
I don't know about Zora, but my life is really not that much different because I live a pretty self-absorbed life.
Just being honest.
Of a me, really, because it's like all I do. It's like I'm a singer and I work out quite a bit and take care of my body. My primary focus has been to make sure my mother is doing well. I spend a lot of time alone reflecting. I spend a lot of time being silent and quiet because I every day feel like I need to connect to that inner source to be able to understand what I need to do from one space to the next. I'm always consulting that inner space. When I'm not able to connect to that, I feel quite an imbalance in my life. So I'm in my space. Like this is my jam. Like leave me alone.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what people are saying on Facebook and streets now. They're saying introverts are having the time of their lives right now. Tell me, Zohra, how are you keeping up?
Very much the same. I mean, the one thing about music, it's so insular anyway. It's
right.
We work so much on our own, and we the performance is like such a tiny part of all the work that we have to do anyway. And
Absolutely.
things have not changed really that much for me. Not really, and I homeschool, so the kids are fine. They're
much.
Huh?
Nothing has changed much.
No, not really. Not really. I'm really grateful for the fact, like, for instance, the New Haven Ballet is going to offer the Zoom classes starting today. And the kids really do need that outlet. That was really, that was a big deal for them. And not having that, they did okay last week. And I kicked them outside as much as possible, depending on weather and such. But this will be good. This has got to be good for them.
I feel the same way too, to be honest. Like what you're saying, that you feel like it's me. I mean, I feel the same way too. However, I do have kids and my happy hair, but I think it's an artist thing.
Yeah.
I don't feel so different. I don't feel, except for going out, which is great for me. I'm taking advantage of this because then I don't feel like I need to be out, connecting and being, just being out. I'm happy that I don't have to do that. I think it was about time for this corona, so to speak, to come around because now I'm calm. I'm much more calm. I'm at home and I'm really reconnecting with my family as well. Because sometimes, it's our job. We are everywhere. We're trying to connect. We're invited to galas. We're invited to this and that. And then there's open mics for some, and there's rehearsals for some, and then there's classes. We are always out doing something, so many things.
Right.
So this for me really helps me to ground. It grounds me, and now I can look back and see, oh, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. I'm trying to do to get to do soaps right now.
Right.
I'm trying to, do my second batch of socks because I was selling socks before as well. So I'm doing all these things. I have time to just chill and focus on myself. So I understand what you're saying, Doc. While Harry, I have some pictures of you as well, Dr. Jackson, and as well as your video of your music. However, there's a picture of Oprah that I saw on your timeline, and I thought, excusez-moi. I think Harry can pull that up, and I thought, wait. I know Oprah has schools in South Africa and has a school in South Africa and all of that. How did you connect with her? And I know that you also went to South Africa.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that journey and also you meeting Oprah and being in South Africa as well?
Yeah, I met Oprah in 2003 when I was chosen to go to South Africa with her company, with Harpo Productions and her company. And it was really under the auspices of her book club. That year she chose Cry the Beloved Country. And there is a musical adaptation called Lost in the Stars by Kurt Weill. Fantastic musical. And so I was chosen. It was really miraculous. My teacher wrote a letter on my behalf, and I was chosen to go. She sent a letter and a publicity photo, and it was like hitting the lottery, really. And so I went to South Africa for 2 weeks. We were there, and I cried quite a bit. I think of the most important, I would say, a poignant moment there was when I went to Robben's Island, to where Mandela was held in prison for many years. So when I went to I was able to walk in the actual cell where he lived, and I cried. I cried so much. I cried. I just couldn't. And of all of the activities we had in South Africa, meeting Nelson Mandela was not one of them. But as always, something always happens for me to open up this I don't know, this door. And so we were at the World AIDS Day concert in South Africa. And on my way to the restroom, everywhere we went, we had to travel with security detail. So as they were bringing me to the restroom, I saw Mandela being brought to the stage to greet all of the attendants of this concert. And I saw him coming over, and so I ran over to say something to him, but when I got in front of his face, I said nothing.
I don't blame
you. I mean, really, Zohra, what do you say to Nelson Mandela? Like, really? So
just staring at him is enough. Staring into his eyes and his face.
I just could not believe, first of all, the beauty in his face. I could not understand the resilience in his face. And I was like, where is the wear and tear? Where is the stress?
Right?
Where is the anxiety? Where is the old man that should have come out of that experience? And I didn't see that. That was probably the moment when my life changed. That was when I realized that being a singer is an honorable thing, but that it was not my destiny. It's not a purpose. And Oprah gave us these journals, and on the first page of the journal, she wrote, it's sort of an indirect quote from the book. She said, "Tiffany, you are going to love this beloved country beyond any singing of it."
Wow.
Wow. Of course, in 2003, I was like, what you talking about, Oprah? What is beyond singing? There's nothing beyond singing, girl. In 2003, singing was my identity. It was my skin. It was my blood. It was my breath. It was everything about life for me. And then from that experience and being in South Africa, it took years for me to be able to process it all. I think ultimately that lesson culminated at Manhattan School of Music, where I did a professional studies degree. I'll tell you guys this quick story. I took a class called Chanter Autrement, Chanter Autrement, Autrement, singing differently. And in this particular class, we were asked to allow our minds to travel to a space in time when we were inspired. And so, because I always told myself I sang because I had to, I sang for escape. I told myself I had to sing myself into a better situation. I'd always told myself because I thought that's what music was for me. But when I took that particular class and I went to the space, we were essentially hypnotized. And that memory went to a space in New Haven, Connecticut, 1987, 88, Woolsey Hall. And I saw this beautiful African-American opera singer float out on stage, Kathleen Battle. Had never seen anyone who looked like me singing this music. And so I said, holy smokes, that's what I am to do. And then I made the connection from South Africa to the lesson I learned at Manhattan School of Music, that I didn't sing because I was desperate, that I sang because I was inspired.
Yes. Wow, that's beautiful. That is really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Look at you here. Do you see yourself?
That's a bad bitch right
there. That's a bad bitch right there.
That's the girl who was real hungry.
Listen. Hunger can be good, because hunger can drive you to do things and do wonderful things, and completely show you strength, So there's a couple of your pictures here, but what you're saying is actually really, it resonates with me, you know. I just wanted to ask you a little bit more. Oh, there you are with Miss Oprah over
and
there.
Bono.
Right, and Bono, right? Wow, wow. So tell me, you were just talking about your purpose. I want to touch on on your purpose. What is your purpose? You know, because I know you're doing a lot of things. You're doing your body work, and you're doing your singing and music, and you're teaching at the side, and also you're inspiring kids. You go to schools and you work with kids, and all of these different elements. But what is your purpose? What is your why? You know, in all of that.
Right. You know, I would say I'm living it now. My purpose is to serve others in whatever capacity I can. Service to others. Muhammad Ali said that service to others is the rent we pay for our room on this earth. And so I felt that being a singer, I don't want to say only a singer, but that's how I feel, didn't feel purposeful for me. That's why it's inspiring to hear about Zohra's story, how she's doing so many other things in her life, because so many singers can be one dimensional, where their whole life is about, yeah, their whole life is about how high their notes are, or how beautiful they sing, or how low they can sing, or how wherever they sing, whether they're at the Met, whether their whole identity. And listen, I have a lot of friends who sing in very important places who are very sad right now. But let me tell you something. I've been saying to them, and I said this in my live the other day. You're still a great singer if you sing for 3 people in your local church, as if you were in the Met singing for thousands.
Yes, man.
It's just as important. It's just as beautiful, and people will remember it nonetheless based on what you give. So purpose for me is beyond, you know, I say I live a self-absorbed life. I don't say that selfishly. I say it because everything I do, I wanted to contribute to becoming a better version of myself, so I can be a role model for young lives. So I have this nonprofit organization I started called Gift, Passion, Purpose, and it's all based on the 3 most important pillars in my life. Gift being music, my passion being health and fitness, and purpose being just giving and teaching and giving back in ways. Although I'm not nearly where I want to be in my life. I mean, I have this huge college loan debt, but I still have a lot to give to the world. So to answer your question directly, Thabisa, my purpose is to be selfless. That if I am going to spend a lot of time building myself up, I have to make sure that whatever I learn from being a devoted and committed person to excellence, that I have to share and show other people how that's done. Because very few people know what that is. Very few.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And Zohra, I'm gonna get to you as well. That is brilliant because I feel like you said, I love that quote by Ali. I didn't know about that quote. I need to have that. I need to use that more because I believe that too. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you have or don't have. You still gotta pay for your room one way or another. And it doesn't have to be monetary. It just has to. It can just simply be because of your heart, how you treat other people, and this is how you're gonna pay for your place in this earth. In this
exactly. Because everybody's going around crying about how they lost their contracts to sing here, sing there, sing there. I'm like, how about there are kids who can't eat right now? Because they used to get lunch in schools.
Yes.
You know, how about kids who don't have the capacity to do remote learning because they don't have a computer at home?
Exactly.
Like seriously, give me a break.
Yeah.
Like I lost the money too. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I gained
thankful
more.
For life. Yeah.
I'm thankful for life.
I'm thankful for life. Same here. We have your video ready to be played right now, Doc, and we'll see if Harry can find us the volume for it.
Okay.
And see if it's gonna work. Is it working, Harry? No.
I don't hear the sound.
Me too. I don't hear the sound. Because I do know they have sounds. I listened to these videos. So there must be a little bit of a technical glitch.
This was at Choate Rosemary Hall. They had a faculty concert.
You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
So what was the song? I'm just gonna ask you about the performance. Actually, I should have done that more with you as well, Zohra, about your video, previous video. But tell me, Doc, about this video. What is it about? What are you singing?
Yeah, so I believe here I am a faculty member at Choate Rosemary Hall, which is a boarding school in Wallingford. Many of these kids are all home now. They're not coming back to school for the rest of the year. But I believe it was a faculty concert, and I sang two songs that day. I sang a song by Ricky Ian Gordon called Will There Really Be a Morning? Poetry by Emily Dickinson. And I sang the vocalese in the form of a habanera by Maurice Ravel. Yeah, I wanted to sing two very distinct and different pieces that day.
Right.
I managed to do that.
Right. Right. Look at you belting it out there. I can just, oh, wow. You look like you are enjoying that performance. Wow.
I did. Singing for the kids.
I feel very, very fortunate to have you both here, ladies, and I'm very, very, very grateful to you both. To my listeners out there, you're listening to WNHH 103.5, Thabisa and Friends. I am here with my two guests, Zohra Rawling and Dr. Tiffany Jackson. I am enjoying this conversation with you guys, with you ladies, because I'll tell you this: I am in my own right, my queen of my castle, and also I am learning from people like yourselves who are who are accomplished and who are still accomplishing. There's no ending to your journey, and anytime soon, and that is an inspiring thing to see you guys, pulling up your bootstraps and moving forward and doing the best you can for the community and for yourselves as women and just trying to make a mark into this world with a kind heart while you are at it, because it's very difficult to not difficult. It's rare to find women that are in the music industry that are willing to talk honestly about what it means for them to be the musicians that they are, and to share resources and to share knowledge on how you can be better at your own craft as another musician. And I find that with you both, I feel like you are those women that I know I can go to as another young musician myself, go to and ask for, tips. And I have those that come behind me that ask me for those things, and I get to tell them too, because of I know the people that are looking out for me. So so I know the greats are there looking, doing what I want to do as well, and I learn what I can learn. I remember one time when I met you, Dr. Tiffany, how we met. We met through Dan.
Through the Arts Council.
That's right. Dan from the Arts Council. He organized a meeting for you and myself and Mary, I believe. Her name is Mary.
Another artist,
Another artist. And she and just decided, these three ladies need to meet up because we all had these different things to offer, in the arts
and the passion
for it. And that is like, thank you, Dan. So I found a gem here. I found a gem, Dr. Tiffany. I was like, okay, I will keep you in my radar. I know we haven't worked yet, because there's a lot going on. I'm trying to sort out my own things in my own pace and all of that.
Yeah.
But I'm also calm because I know it's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. It might not be now or next week, but it's just gonna happen. So to be with you guys on this interview is just great. I think maybe Larry is still trying to play your video here, Zohra. Can you tell me about your video?
That was from our first vaudeville event. It was a work in progress. We weren't really sure what we wanted to do exactly, and we did pull in some kind of modern things and stuff that weren't actually period. And so that one is by Mira Duchesne, and it was so much fun. It was really a lot of fun. I met new people through it, people I hadn't performed with before now who are really great friends, and that was at Lyric Hall. That one was at Lyric Hall.
I love Lyric Hall. So intimate.
Yeah, it is. It's really lovely. And so we're kind of like, we've been kind of moving around and trying out new places. We did Cafe 9. We were going to be at the State House, but obviously we had to postpone that. That one we do, it's a Cabaret du Néant, which is the Cabaret of the Void, and it was basically one of like these really early Victorian theme bars. So they had them in Paris, and there's a cabaret of hell and a cabaret of heaven. They're like next door to each other, and this other one, it's very bohemian and wonderful.
Right,
so
right.
I don't do it very often because it's so much harder for me to do because I have to do arranging of music and orchestration and such. I don't just pull music and have people perform it, but so like I sat and I did that. It's a lot of work.
Right. I understand. Yeah. How are you able to connect with your audience right now? Now that I know I've seen some of your posts as well that your gigs are, you had to cancel a lot of upcoming gigs. And do you have any plans how you want to connect with your audience yet? Or are you still working around that?
Well, I'm not really sure what we'll do. So we do have one more show that is in June, and that's at the Institute Library, and that's a wait and see. We'll see what happens. Right. And that's going to be completely the music of Tom Lehrer, who's ridiculously hilarious. And so I hope it goes through. If not, well, we'll postpone it and we'll try again and see what happens. And the other, the big concern, of course, are the opera companies in Connecticut going to put on their shows, and that's my other concern.
That's true.
I try not to obsess about it. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm just kind of like, well, I have all this time. I have no other thing I'm focusing on. So I'm going to work really hard on my technique. Right. I'm going to see if I can come out of this as like, version wherever I'm at, 4.5 or like as a singer in my never-ending quest to be the best singer that I personally can be. And
that's right.
I don't compete with anyone else. I just who was I yesterday? Who am I today? What can I do personally to move my craft forward? That's what I'm really working on right now, and I'm actually really excited about that, and not having to divide my time on that. That it's new. It's very new. I'm not sure when the last time, if ever, I've been able to do that. So, and I'm a firm believer of there's enough room for everyone who wants to art.
Right.
It really is. And Madame Talia is a modular group, so we have a lot of performers. And I say, here, we're going to do this date. Who wants to play?
Right.
And people sound off. I add a new person, and then I program it and we do it. Wow. It's a great opportunity for people to do their don't do all the time. So like Gretchen Fraser, she's like, I'm going to use ukulele, and like,
nice.
Great. And she's she's a violist, and like, great, sure, why not?
Violinist, right?
Yeah. Right. So it's a great.
I'm sorry to cut you now. I'm a little bit pressed for time, and I want to have both of you. I want your fans and your new fans to follow you. Tell us where to follow you, and then I'll ask you one last question, and please, if you can be brief about it.
Okay.
Great. I will ask the question first, so you have it in mind. What would you tell this 12-year-old sitting at home right now, doesn't know what to do with her life? She has a lot of time on her hands. She wants to be something in her life, even if she's not sure what it is exactly. What do you tell that 12-year-old sitting right now watching this interview that wants to become successful and wants to be a great human being, someday? How is she going to do that? Oh, what advice would you give her? But also tell me where people should follow you, and then after that, it's going to be you, Doc.
Okay. I would say read a lot, read different things. You have the opportunity to play on Duolingo, learn more languages. Our country is one where we take a perverse pride in only having one language and understanding one language, and that has to stop. It has to stop now if we want to actually be good stewards of this world in general and to communicate with each other. So learn languages, read everything you can get your hand on, and write about it. It doesn't have to be good. You're not sharing it with anyone. It's your thoughts. They're important thoughts. Your thoughts are valid and important, and making a record for yourself of that is going to help you build further in your future. That's
what we follow you. Right.
Following me, I have Madame Talia on Facebook. that's really the best way.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, Doc?
Thank you.
Well, I want to piggyback on what Zohra said. Essentially, educate yourself and embrace differences. Learn different things and expose yourself to different things. I mean, that's how when I look back, that's what happened to me. I loved where I started, but where my journey took me was to different places, different languages, different people, different music, different genres. I think that is the key to freedom, is knowing that there is more than just one of anything.
Right.
Diversity, diversify, right.
Yes.
Don't box yourself in. Where can people find me? Couple of places, necessarydiva.net, and Doc Tiffany Renee Jackson on Facebook. And they can, I mean, I'm not a big IG person, even though that's where most people go, but I do have Necessary Diva on IG and also Necessary Diva on Twitter and every other.
I love the names, Necessary Diva. I love it because divas are necessary, okay?
They gotta be, because we have a lot of unnecessary ones. Right, Zohra?
It's fun to look at the song called Diva from the River as well. Necessary Diva. There you have it, beautiful people. Wow. This is WNHH 103.5 FM. Thabisa and friends. I want to thank you. I want to thank my guests today for coming on to this Zoom New Haven Independence Radio Show. This is brilliant. This is just brilliant. So it's WNHH 103.5 FM. I'm happy to be here. I want to thank my producer, Harry. Harry, thank you so much for making this happen.
Hi, Harry.
As you are tuning me out with the song, Harry, I want to say thank you for doing this. And I wasn't sure how we were going to carry on with this show, knowing that we can't go to the studio because of the obvious reason. Corona is on us, you know, and we're trying our best. I think my hands are just gonna melt at some point. Because now every time I touch my face, but it's good thing I'm at home. But every time I touch my face, I can't touch it without thinking, oh, is it okay that I just did that? But thank you guys for having us.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Thabisa. Bye. Nice to meet you, Zohra.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm gonna follow you.
And you too.
Okay.
Bye.
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 That's WNHH. Thabisa and friends. Shimmy.